beautiful beings. It's Zay. I wanted to put together a video for you guys because this is always heavily on my mind, and I think that this is an important matter when it comes to your hair and when it comes to freeforming, also having locks. But I have thought about why so many people experience shedding or balding when they're locking their hair, and it's mainly because you guys are twisting too much, and you're not allowing your hair to grow. So every time there's frizz or every time you have new growth, you twist it right back up, and you're just not allowing your hair to be free and to grow and to flourish. So I thought about that, and it just makes sense to freeform. I'm not knocking anyone's personal decision to not freeform, but your hair would just be a lot thicker, and the longevity and the health of your hair would last longer. I can't tell you how many people I've run into and they see my hair and they're like, "What do you do?" And I don't do anything to my hair. I let it grow naturally, like these plants. You have plants, you don't do anything to them. You just water them, and you talk to them, you tell them how lovely they are, and you play beautiful music for them. Do the same thing with your hair. Massage your hair with jojoba oil or any oils that are good for your scalp to promote growth. I would say coconut oil is not one of them. I would say that olive oil is not one of them. Those are more for your actual hair. Scalp oils are like fenugreek and burdock root and jojoba oil. Those are more for stimulating hair growth. You can also add rosemary or tea tree to them. But however, you just need to pretty much let your hair do its own thing. So massage it and let it be. Wake up in the morning, and if it's looking how it's looking, cool. If you don't like it, wrap it up. Spritz it with some water or aloe vera juice. But for the most part, you're not really doing much. So I recently just met this guy I actually sold a rug to, and he had locks. Hold on. And he had locks, and he was looking at my hair, and he asked me if I was a hairstylist, and I told him no, but I do come from a family of hairstylists, so I know what I'm doing. I'm not licensed to do hair, but I've done my hair in many ways possible. I've straightened it, I've colored it, I've dyed it, I've cut it, you name it. And so I, pretty much told him, yeah, like, if you want to start locks, I can also do that as well. That wasn't his problem. His problem, what he was dealing with was that he had so many people, and that's another thing. Stop having so many people in your hair. Not a lot of people should be touching your hair. Other people's energy goes into your head, and that's something I had to learn on my journey. I had to learn that before I was even freeform, before I even thought about locks, I started to understand what energy was, even though I didn't have a way to name it just yet or to really tell you what it was. But I remember when I used to go get my hair straightened, and my dad would find this girl that his homeboy knew, and I'm like, so I remember when I was getting my hair straightened, and the woman that I usually go to, the only woman I would ever go to, her name was Peaches, and she wasn't available that day, or my dad couldn't afford her normal rate. So my dad talked to his homeboy and his homeboy's sister know how to do hair, and I was just like, that's not what I want to do. And I remember clearly Peaches, like, you know, it's a thing, you know, for your hairstylist or beautician to get a little, like, why are you going to someone else, you know? And it shouldn't even be solely about jealousy or, you know, like you're betraying them, but it's more like, this is my work, you know, this is my work of art, and I put a lot of work into getting your hair to be what it is, and now you're gonna go to someone else and they're gonna do whatever they want to do to it. So really, you know, having a bunch of people in your hair, they don't know your hair, they don't know how it works, they don't know what triggers dandruff, they just don't know your hair, okay? End of the story. They don't know your hair like you do, or like the person that does your hair normally. So I just remember going to her and not feeling the best afterwards. Like, my hair was overly oily. I told her it was dry, but my scalp was and my hair was overly oily, and my hair just didn't flow the way that it did. And so in that moment, I knew, like, she didn't use the products that I normally had used, and in that moment, I knew, like, I cannot keep having people in my head. So if we can't afford to go to Peaches, then I need to learn how to do my own hair, period. And I suggest that to everybody, you know, like, and especially because of everything that's going on right now, it's so beneficial for you to just learn your own hair, learn your own body in general. You know, no one's living in your body, you are. So learn how to listen to your hair, learn how to listen to everything in around you, you know, within you. So yeah, that's the number one thing, you know, having a lot of people in your hair, and they don't know what they're doing. Like, they can claim that they know what they're doing, but they do not know what they're doing. So his problem, though, I don't know who his original loctician was. Either way, I feel very iffy about locticians because I've gone to them to start my locks, you know, before I freeformed, and I was very self-conscious about freeforming. I had seen videos of people doing it, but I was so like, oh, I can't do that, you know. I was just downplaying myself. I was doubting myself. And so I would spend all this money. Literally, I've gone to a loctician to comb coil my hair about 5 to 6 times. And in those times, I've never kept them. I hated them. I really disliked them because it didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like me. And I was always in the midst of, like, do I twist? Do I not twist? Like, I don't want my hair to look like that. Like, I literally don't want my hair to do that. I don't want it to look skinny. I don't want it to look little. I don't want 80 locks or more. I don't want to have to go to a beautician all the time, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, to twist my hair. Like, I'm not trying to do that. The whole point of me getting rid of my curls, or letting my curls naturally lock up, is to stop buying products, stop being in my hair. That's the whole point. So it never fit right for me. And I don't know who his beautician was or his loctician was, but either way, you're spending $60 or more to get your hair locked. And then how often are you going to them? Doesn't really matter, but you're spending more money. And what also pisses me off is that they're putting this twist and lock gel in your hair. They're putting this gunk in your locks. And so what I had to do for him, which was such an honor, and I actually may start doing that for people, is repairing your locks. You know, you once had uniform locks. Let's get you to freeform, okay? Let's get all of these knots, not knots, out of your hair, but essentially he had someone thread his hair So some of the ones that were skinny, they were weak and they couldn't hold on any longer. So I guess someone thread his hair. Somebody else put a rubber band in it, and I'm just like, why is there rubber band stuck in your hair? Why is there thread in your hair? First of all, and that's not the first person. I have a really good friend who also had thread in his hair, and he did that. I think he or another woman did it, and I was just like, these people don't know what they're doing. You don't need to thread your hair to lock. You don't. If you want to encourage it, okay, cool, that's fine. Put a band on it. Put like a non-elastic, but like not rubber. Nothing rubber, nothing that is gonna get tangled in your hair. I wish I had a band for you right now, but I got rid of all of mine because I literally don't use combs or rubber bands or nothing. I don't use anything. So if you want to encourage it to grow, then yeah, of course, put a band on it and let it do its thing. But eventually your hair is going to it's really not going to hold, because it has this idea that it's already held by the band. So when you take off that band and when you cut off the thread, your hair is going to come loose, right? It's going to come loose, or it's going to entangle itself in the thread or in the rubber band, and that's not good. Your hair is essentially suffocating, if you really think about it. Think about if I put a thread on these two to put them together. They're just gonna grow up, and then when I take them out, they're gonna come apart, like they just are. They're not gonna grow together. They're not gonna merge together. Or you can, twist them together, or you can braid them together, and maybe eventually they will lock. I don't know. I've never done it. I've seen people do it. But either way, if you have locks that you want to combine and they're already matured, I would say just let it be. Just let your roots grow out at this point. Just let that part combine. I don't know if your matured locks on the end will form together, but it's worth a try. However, please stop going to these people that are putting gels in your hair and just products in general. Just stop putting products in your hair. If you're not using oils, then don't do anything. Don't put anything else in your hair. Be cautious of the shampoo that you use, the products that you use, what's in it. If it has more than, if it's something you can't pronounce, and it doesn't look natural, if it's a chemical, do not use it, period. So that's it. If you can look on the back of the bottle and you can name these things and you can look them up, and when you look them up, a plant pops up, use it. It's real. But if it's a product, if it's a chemical and no picture comes up and it's just this description of what it is and the chemical and whatever, like do not use it. I'm learning that, and I don't use any harsh products at all on my hair. I barely wash my hair now, but I wash it like every 3 weeks now. It was 2, but I've gone to 3. I also just purchased jojoba oil, and I've massaged that in my hair last night, and that really does help my dandruff. I don't know what was wrong with me from the start of my hair journey, but I've never used jojoba oil on my scalp. I've had dandruff for so long, and it even got worse when I was relaxing my hair. I would have scabs in my head, no lie. And I went to a dermatologist for what? Like, for what? Like, the silly things that we do. We do these things to ourselves. You use these products that are so terrible for your skin. and then you go see a doctor, like, you're doing it to yourself, okay? And a lot of the times, yes, people do have conditions, skin conditions, but it can also be decreased by what we're doing and what we're eating. So, what we're using also. So, I'm sorry. I was ignorant once also. So, I'm not, blasting anybody, but just think about, okay, what is something that I could change? What is something that I could reverse? And what is something I can change my routine, and what can I do to decrease the issues that I'm having? Um, so yeah, number 1 and 2, stop having a lot of people in your hair. Stop threading your hair. Stop twisting your hair too often. Let your hair naturally grow, and just let it be. Let it grow like a branch on a tree. Let it, just for real, let it be free. And in return, you will feel free. Just be aware of what you're doing, and when, let's say you are transitioning to freeform, um, my mistake that I made in the beginning, I freeformed twice. I've attempted to freeform 3 times. This is my 4th time, and I'm in love, and I'm not starting over. This is the journey. This is it. Okay. But my mistake that I made is separating too early. So I would suggest that you guys wait for your hair to do its thing, because once you separate your locks, you can't join them again. Like, you can't do that part again. So let's say, I'm going to show you guys an example of what I mean, because you can join them. They can eventually combine. But what I'm saying is that these two, okay? These two were together in the beginning. So they were all the way up here, and they were joined like that. I felt like, okay, well, this one might, it might work. So now they're starting to join here. And that's okay with me. I'll have a 2-headed dragon. But once you separate, there's no going back. And there's no going back from what you just separated. The only thing that you can do now is let the roots join. So if that's okay with you, sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes for you to make a mistake with your hair to realize, oh, shit, I should have left that alone. But, and that's what happened with me in the beginning. I was so self-conscious of my hair. And in my mind, I saw myself with thick locks. That's why the back of my hair was so thick. But then the front part was very thin, and it didn't make sense. It didn't add up. And also, all of my hair wasn't grown out, so I had, some variations in length. Literally, like, none of this was here. It was, like, shaved off. So that didn't make sense. I should have just waited for my hair to grow, or started all over. But either way, your hair is not really naturally even. No one's hair is really even, but you want something to work with. You want all of your hair to freeform at the same time, not for your shaved part to grow in later, because then it's just going to be super uneven. But if you are going for that look, if that's what you want, then kudos to you. Eventually, those will join together with your other locks as well. But I was very self-conscious of how I thought I would look. And I was like, well, I want the front to, be... I don't know. I think I was just also programmed or brainwashed by looking at other people's locks. And I didn't have a solid foundation or vision for myself. and I didn't set intentions for myself when I started my locks. So I would see other people's locks and I would get lock envy, and I would just be like, oh dang, I want mine. Do I want mine? Like I was just so indecisive. Okay, hence my whole hair journey. I was super indecisive, and it means a lot to me right now to commit to just this. Like, you guys don't even know. I've committed for a long time to straight hair, and then having to unlearn that, learn the history of straight hair and why we did that, and what that symbolized, and how that wasn't naturally me. It truly wasn't naturally me. And I thought about, okay, well, if one day I don't have electricity, or I can't and I don't have access to straighten my hair, what would I do? I would have no choice but to love myself. I would have no choice but to accept my natural hair, because at that point it's going to start growing naturally, because that's just what it does. It's what it does. It's what nature does. You are nature, and your hair is growing the way that it's intended to. So that's how I came about accepting myself and accepting my hair. I felt super self-conscious about my hair. And when you don't have a solid vision for yourself, when you start anything, you don't have a solid vision for yourself, you're going to steer off of what path you're on, because it's your path. It's not anyone else's. And you're going to get all these other ideas and all these other visions that are not yours, and then yours will change or be manipulated somehow, some way, and it won't feel like you. It won't feel real. It won't feel authentic. That's what I would say. I just, envision yourself this certain person. See your hair the way you want it to grow, and it will grow. I won't say it will grow exactly that way, but it's gonna match what you see. So I didn't have that, and in my journey I became very self-conscious, and people were loving my hair, but I didn't love my hair. You can love my hair all day, but if I don't love it, then why does, none of that matters, honestly. So I had to start over, and I also was in a very negative, toxic relationship, and it made it better for me to start over, because all that energy was in my hair. And in that time, this is something you should never do, okay? In that time, I had asked my previous partner at the time what I should do with my hair. I asked him, I said, do you think I should freeform, or do you think I should twist? What do you think he said? And this has nothing to do with his color. Maybe it does. He was a white man. And actually, it has nothing to do with color at all. I think it has more to do with knowledge. Because there are men out there that support their women no matter what race they are. They support their black women with their hair, because they know the struggles that they go through. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, he said I should twist it. And I think it was more of that mindset, the state of mind that, this is what we're used to seeing. I live in St. Louis, so there are so many people here that have locks that don't freeform. And when people see me, or people see, I have a lot of friends that, well, actually not a lot, I wouldn't say a lot. I have a few friends that freeform, and when they see them, they're like, whoa, like we're a whole nother being. Granted, we are, but they look at us like we're this whole different person, and it's just, we have a different state of mind. That's it. That my hair is my crown, and I'm gonna let it be free, and I'm going to let it form. And thick locks are just like godly, They're so divine. They're so godly. And I'm not saying that locks that are not thick are not godly, because all locks are godly. But if your hair is breaking off, if it's weak, and if it's not flourishing, then how can you feel that way? You know, how can you feel that way about yourself? That's how I felt. I was like, I'm not feeling my hair. Like, I don't feel as empowered as I would be if my hair was thick and strong. And I really wanted my hair to resemble a tree, for real. That's the envision that I have for myself. And that's what's happening with my hair. And I have to have discipline, and I have to have faith and trust in the process, and know that my hair is gonna it's just gonna do its thing, and it's gonna be beautiful. So, you know, eventually, like I said, if you feel like you want to separate your hair, then cool, but at least you freeformed, you know, at least you allowed your hair to just grow in its natural state, and you didn't manipulate it in any way. So when I first freeformed, these four were trying to combine, okay? So I would have had this sticking up. And I think that's cute, you know, I think it's really beautiful, but I had to think, okay, do I want my hair being pulled and tugged on like that? And do I want this to really be like, you know, this would be in my face all the time. So, no, I want to separate it. That's what I mean, like, that's okay to do. But in the back, ooh, the back, you can be as thick as you like. I'm so excited for my hair. I'm excited for the growth. Whatever happens, happens. And every time I wash my hair, I can feel my hair forming. So your hair loves being wet. Our hair loves the water. It loves to be washed. Don't wash it too often because we have dry hair and we're taking that oil out of it, but the necessary oils out of it. But when it's time to wash your hair, really wash it and watch how amazing it feels. Like, just look at it and just feel it. Your hair is just gonna thank you so much. It loves the water. It just loves it. Frizz is not bad. Don't be afraid of frizz. If you start seeing frizz and you're freaking out, I don't understand how you have natural hair. Our hair is naturally frizzy, and I love it. I've learned to embrace my frizz. You have to change your mindset about, oh, I need to do my hair. Oh, it's looking wild. That's because it is. It's because you are wild. Like, you are. That is your nature. You are wild. You are a free bird. You are a lion, okay? Ooh, that's a great example. You are a lion, okay? Your hair is like your mane, right? And for the guys that have like the beards, you are a straight lion, okay? Let that shit grow. Let it grow. It's cool if you want to trim it up. It's cool if you want to, you know, keep it short, but let it thicken. That's the point. Let it thicken up. Let it be, because when you get old, man, you're going to have this wise, man, y'all don't see what I see. And I'm thinking like, okay, when I get old, I'm going to have, who's to say I don't know when I'm going to have gray hair. I do have this little white hair in my head, though. That's a wisdom hair. It's all wisdom. You know, you're growing old. You're wise now. You've learned a lot. You lived your life. That's a symbol of wisdom. White and gray hair is a symbol of wisdom. So when I'm thinking, when I envision myself older, I'm gonna have these thick, beautiful ass locks, and I'm just gonna be this wise old black woman. You know, hopefully I've learned other cultures and I can implement that into my life and teach other people about it. Maybe I'll have children and teach them. But I want strong hair. When I look at Native Americans, when I look at Rastafarians, I see hair that is down to the floor, and I see like strong, wise human being, a resilient human being, that has endured so much and that's so strong. Yeah, stop allowing people to be in your hair. Don't thread your hair. Stop twisting too much. Be aware of the products that you use. Let your hair naturally grow the way that it grows. And just trust the process. Like, for real. Don't don't mess with your hair. That's it. And I've had to learn that. The more I leave my hair alone, the more that it grows and it flourishes. So that's all I have to say. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. If you need help with transitioning to freeforms and I can't physically be there, I can do my best to help you. Maybe we can like Zoom, have a Zoom meeting, or maybe we can just talk via text or talk via phone audio. But yeah, I wish you guys good luck on your journeys and self-love journeys, really, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's just learning to accept yourself the way you are, because you are unique and no one can be like you. So embrace that. Love you guys.